What is up? Hope you're doing amazing. So I just got back from my quick coffee run. It's currently like 8:30 a.m. on a Thursday morning. But it's load shedding, so there's literally no electricity. So I couldn't make myself a coffee, so I quickly had to grab one. And I was listening to this podcast called the All In Podcast, and I highly recommend it. It's like four guys discussing the latest trends on every single topic basically. And in this video I want to talk about, that's a side tangent, but anyway, I want to talk about the one thing that will literally create millionaires in the next 3 to 5 years, and that one thing is learning, and specifically reading books. Okay, and learning in general, going through courses, seminars, workshops, all that kind of stuff, getting mentors as well. So, paying people to, show you and tell you what to do, because they were at the stage that you were at. So they can literally just tell you, okay, do this, do this, this. And you will basically speed up the entire process of where you want to go and achieve your goals much quicker. Okay, so that's the entire goal of learning. And Alex Hormozi also talks about it. Ty Lopez reads a book a day. All these guys, like Napoleon Hill talks about the Mastermind, where he's got like 12 people, that he talks about. The president's got like a cabinet of 15 people that he talks to on a regular basis. Even on this All-In podcast, is four guys every single week they get together and talk. It's extremely important, okay, because the only thing that stands between you and your goals is information, okay, because there's a knowledge gap. So I make it almost like a rule. Like every time I have some spare time, I'm not doing anything that is moving the needle. Obviously I'm mostly out of the business at the moment. I'm just doing sales calls and team meetings in the evenings. So I have the role as a CEO is basically to make good decisions, okay, and basically the thing that will ultimately bring success in the long term. So you need to be able, if you're working in the business, I will get to the learning part, but if you work in the business, you don't have the mental bandwidth and the clarity, and the your mind is clouded with all this chatter. So you need to be able to step out and make high level decisions. Okay, so enough of that. Learning. Okay, so whenever I've spare time, I read. So literally when I'm at the bank, I'm going to the bank and I'm sitting there, I read. When it's like an article, obviously I can't listen to a pod, or I can if I want to, but it's gonna annoy the people next to me. I listen to some book summaries, or not listen, but read some book summaries. I read on my Kindle. I have that on my phone. That's why I don't really like books in general, actual book, because it just gives like pick me energy when when you're walking with your book. You're like, you think you want people to look at you or whatever. And also when people buy all these books just to showcase how many books they've read, but actually the main thing is just to absorb the knowledge. Okay, so that's why I read on my phone, so I can literally just pull it up anywhere. I'm standing in line at a shop, I just read. Okay, so during the day, I try and read like 3 to 4 hours every single day. So this is my exact routine at the moment. So I wake up, cold shower, and then before I go shower, go upstairs, and then I watch the sunrise while I read on my Kindle. So that's for like 20 minutes, or not my Kindle, on my phone, which is on the Kindle app. 20 minutes. I'm currently reading The One Thing by Gary Keller. Extremely good book. I'm like halfway through already. And then after that, I open a cold shower, brush my teeth, all that kind of stuff, the necessities. And then, I get to work basically. Go through my self-transcendence document, which takes like 25 minutes. And then I get back to work. I usually have a few sales calls during the day. But before gym, I usually read as well for like, 30 to 40 minutes. So that's already, let's say, an hour. And then during the day, I read a lot as well. And then before night, I usually read for like an hour as well. So that's 2. And during the day, I also read a lot. So 3 to 4 hours is my goal. And Alex Hormozi, he also talks about it, the ignorance gap. So you are literally where you are right now. Let's say you're making $100,000 a year. Okay, so that's $8,000 a month. You not knowing how to make $1 million a year, right, is costing you $900,000 a year. So he calls it the ignorance gap. And literally the people always ask like, what should I pay for my education? I'm talking about like online education, right? Like courses and stuff like that. How much should I pay for this course? And it's literally the answer is the difference. So let's say you want to make $1 million a year, which is my goal right now. And it's costing you, I'm at like $300,000 a year right now. So that gap is like $700,000. So how much should I spend on education? The difference. So $700,000, right? So that's literally what you should spend. So, but I don't understand the whole saving and stuff like that. Obviously, a few years back, that worked, saving your money, buying property. But now, inflation is just killing away your dollars. So you should spend that money on education and up your income. So like, especially like the older generation, they are thinking of saving money. But I'm just like, okay, why can't I just, rather than saving, let's say, $100, why not just learn how to make an extra $100 or just make an extra $100? Okay, so you should always look at decreasing and getting more information, decreasing that knowledge gap, and acquiring new information, podcast, books, audiobooks while you go to the gym or while you're riding your car, commuting anywhere. It can be an hour there, an hour back. Like that's 2 hours that you can listen to an audiobook. You can literally finish an audiobook in that 2 hours. Okay, so rather than listen to music, obviously there's a time and place for that, usually at the gym. Just put on an audiobook. I can tell you, back in 2022, I literally read a book a week. So from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. So for 2 hours at night, I would read every single day for that entire year. So I went through 50 books or so. And that was the most transformative experience of my entire life. Like your mind just starts to open up. Like especially when you first start reading, it's like your mind just explodes because you were never exposed to this kind of information. Okay, so I highly recommend reading. Tai Lopez, he says he can read 1,000 books a day with ChatGPT. So like you can, obviously a summary doesn't give the nuance in the book. Doesn't provide the nuance in the book, but like really you should read. Napoleon Hill, I just read How to Sell Your Way Through Life, amazing book. And all this stuff, like with Charlie Morgan also talks about this, like with your memory. Okay, so reading this book right now, I can't recall anything in the book. Let's say, what did you eat 2 days ago at evening? Like some of you are gonna struggle with that because it's so, you instantly forget it. Okay, with memory, like when you absorb something, you most of the time you forget it like instantly. Okay, but over time that compounds, so your knowledge compounds. So let's say the knowledge and the all the information you have in your brain is from the books you read 2 years ago. Okay, so because it compounds on each other, like the knowledge is on top of each other, like it compounds. Okay, so like don't think that Sam Ovens also talks about this, like you think that reading this book right now is gonna give you or make you money next week, but it doesn't work like that. Even a course, you go through a course, you do mentorship, like everything like that, it takes time. Like that's something a lot of people forget. I talked about this in my recent podcast, which I'm going to link down below. I think it's your single greatest asset or your greatest liability or something like that. Like with time, all this stuff is connected, like with knowledge and information and time and all this stuff, it compounds. Okay, so Alex Hormozi also said, with time, most people's plans, or time is a liability for most people's plans. You need to, let time be an asset for your plans. Okay, so that just means compounding. So in the book, Gary Keller, he also talks about, people don't decide their future, they decide their habits, and the habits creates the future. Okay, and that's obviously with time. Ty Lopez also said, everyone gets exactly what they want, right? It just takes 1 to 2 years longer than expected. Okay, that's just the clock. I'm gonna stop that. Okay, I'm back. So just to wrap this off, I think this is good enough. I'm just rambling on right now, but here's some book recommendations I obviously highly recommend. It's Think and Grow Rich. If you haven't read that yet, I read it like 3 times already. I think I'm gonna reread it again. Like some of these books, you want to go over every single year. Like it's obviously good to expose yourself to new information because different how your brain works. If you expose yourself to different information, you'd make these connections. So like Ty Lopez has this thing where he reads 3 books, so 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, or like 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes, or something like that. So it's like your brain just goes crazy, in a good way. And that's the one, Think and Grow Rich. The other one is Reality Transurfing. So I think Iman has read this book like 12 times. And it's highly recommend that as well. I'm going through that as well. Like every evening or at night, I read that book. And which is another one. Yeah, so How to Sell Your Way Through Life by Napoleon Hill. Amazing book, okay? So I don't know if you know, but sales is basically everything. So how you present yourself, how you sell yourself. You're constantly selling your ideas to someone. You are constantly selling yourself to a prospect. You're selling your service, to a client. You are always selling. Okay, selling doesn't have to be this thing of sales and going through a script. That's not. It is sales, obviously, but like selling is you are constantly selling your way through life. You are saying that, okay, this idea is going to be better and you have to present this to other people. So like that's why I love sales so much, even though it's not nice. I'm not always fond of doing this because it drains my energy a lot to listen to people the entire day. But I know it helps a ton. So that's why I do it. But yeah, that's basically today's video. There's a few book recommendations. So Think and Grow Rich, Reality Transurfing, and How to Sell Your Way Through Life. That's basically. Is there another one like Way of the Superior Man? Like you just come on, that's a staple. But yeah, that's basically my book recommendations. If you have any other, obviously you can link them or not link them, but you can comment them down below. I have my book list is just goes on and on. Like I don't have enough time. I have too many books to read. But anyway, that's today's video. I'm gonna get on with the day. I have a call right now, and then I have 2 sales calls like 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. So hopefully that goes well. But yeah, that's basically that. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. Like if you did, dislike if you didn't, I don't mind. But comment all your book recommendations down below and I'll check them out. So peace. See you on Tuesday.